It's not often on this podcast I come across someone that I would love to invest in or even buy their business. Well, today is that case. 5 years ago, Lauren came on the show with a brilliant business model and she's grown it. The only disappointing thing is I think she could grow it a lot more. I think it could absolutely go like gangbusters. It's a brilliant business model. It's got sticky customers and moats around the business. You're going to love this one. Strap yourselves in. Hello, campers. Welcome back to the business broadcast. JB and I are here to help you with your business struggles.
We are indeed, but apparently this is a business that we're going to help today. It's not struggling. Flying.
No,
I
have
was
to
on
say,
5 years ago and his return to the podcast.
half a decade ago, Lauren came on when it was a one-man show.
Yeah.
And it was more businessy.
Yeah.
And it's now moved to, Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
No, Lauren, who is coming on today, I've seen her on a couple of events. I've sold some stuff to her before. Years and years and years ago when I closed down a party shop, she bought all my old stock. And then I bought another party shop called Party Pieces, as you may know.
Yeah, I've heard that rumour.
And she is a very impressive entrepreneur.
So
she's got a good brain. That's how I would describe her. Because I've spent a lot of time with her. I've had a lot of calls with her, and I keep an eye on her on social media. I mean, that sounds very dodgy.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean,
on the dark web,
her business escapades on social media, and she's she knows how many beans make five.
Yes, she certainly does, doesn't she? So she has got a couple of things ongoing at the moment, but she's going to double down into the one thing. So the business we're here to talk about today is called Theatre Express. And if you've been an OG, if you've been listening to the podcast since the very, very beginning, you might remember her from the inception. Yeah, so it would have been just before lockdown. And she said, this is mad when you look back. I think it was 3 or 4 days into lockdown, you did the interview with her and you were both saying, I reckon it could last like 3 weeks. I think people will look back at that time in 100 years and be like, what happened?
Well,
like what?
I think a lot of us think it was a waste of time and,
Let's leave it there, Jimbo. Let's leave it there.
Did lockdown really work?
Oh, no, he's gone and said it. Now you're going to get yourself cancelled.
It caused inflation, huge government debt.
Which we're still paying off now.
Yeah.
And probably still will be for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lauren was on the pod and she was doing a couple of different bits and pieces, but the main business being Theatre Express. She's been trading for about 10 years now. Estimated monthly revenue, she's doing 150 grand a month now. So she tipped over that all exciting £1 million mark in the last few years. She's got 3 team members. That's impressive, isn't it? Doing £1 million in turnover with 3 staff.
This business that we're going to talk about, I'm not going to spoil it. I think she should be the person that says it. But how many episodes of this? It must be 300, 400, 500 episodes.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Certainly in the hundreds. This was one of the ones I was thinking, we could do this. I'd like to get behind this. I'd like to buy this.
Really?
Yeah, and I never did it. And I'd like, if I was investing in someone, I think Lauren is very investable.
And is the business, would you invest in the business or the person?
Well, I don't think she needs it because she is that good. But, if you put Lauren in front of a venture capitalist or a private equity or an angel investor, I think they'd go,
I'll back that, yeah, for 100%. Okay, so 3 team members. Biggest challenge due to price integrity. We're only able to market/grow organically. We're unable to run ads in the traditional sense. So I think I was still around when this episode went out. It's ringing a bell now. That's right. She's not allowed to advertise the tickets that she buys, is she?
I can't remember. I think
theatre tickets she buys in bulk. We do that.
I told her that I'm sure what I said 5 years ago is you create a closed membership group that you pay for to get exclusivity for even better deals, and then that would give you good, strong, predictable cash flow. I'm sure that's what I told her. But it was half a decade ago.
Well, there you go. So
I had more hair then.
Yeah, more hair. It was a different colour.
Yeah.
There's more of you to love back in those days. Now, not these days.
I think I was quite slim 5 years ago. Then things started.
Oh, stress eating during COVID. So unable to run ads in the traditional sense, so to product or to explicitly advertise what we're doing, which means that we've got to this point organically, which means it's been slow. Second biggest challenge, increasing the average order value. Oh, she has taken a chunk out of the James Sinclair playbook, hasn't she? Third biggest challenge, converting our standard members into our VIP members who pay £12 a month to access additional benefits. I'd like to get this to 2,000 paying members. We currently have have 1,200. So she has implemented everything that you suggested. Brilliant. And where do you want to be in 1 year?
I mean, this is what a business that is. So she's got 1,200. Let me just 1,200 times 12 is 14.5 grand a month with no cost to sell. No cost to sell.
So that,
I mean, it's not Netflix here where you got to make a Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Or
Amazon Prime where you've got to get free delivery the next day.
Brilliant business.
That is pretty impressive, isn't it? 12 quid a month, 1,200 people. Where does she want to be in 1 year's time? She said, by the end of 2025, I'd like to double our turnover to from 1.1 million to 2 million by the end of 2025. What does the business look like when it's finished? Hitting £10 million turnover annually, being widely respected to both consumers and also to... That sentence didn't finish. What a cliffhanger. She even knows how to market well. Do you make the profit that you want to make? And if so, what is it? She said, we make between 10 and 15 per month, profit month on month, but we'd like to hit 20% by the end of 2026.
Sorry, 10 and 15 grand or 10 and 15%?
10 and 15%. Sorry, 10 and 15%.
It's really interesting. So the 14 grand is 10% of the 150 turnover. So really the membership
That's the profit.
There's another famous business that James Sinclair likes that 70% of the profit comes from memberships. And that business is
Costco.
There he is. So there's more or less the shop, just for people that don't know my loving for Costco. The shop does make a profit. About 30% of Costco's profits come from its traditional business, and 70% comes from profits. And this is very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very smart. So she would like to, we also ask our entrepreneurs, how do you spend your day-to-day time in the business? Mostly marketing, liaising with the booking agents and contacting and managing the team. And then she's got a bunch of questions that she would like to ask you as well.
I'm looking forward to doing 8 Traits of the Greats with Lauren, but when I've met her and spoken to her over the years, this is a person that has the qualities of the successful entrepreneur. I think she could be doing. Well, she's quick to make a decision.
Yeah.
And if that decision goes wrong, well, that's okay. We just pivot and we go again. If we go through her story, I mean, she has had smaller businesses that was not satisfying enough for her, and she's moved them and made them bigger or stopped doing them.
Yeah.
So it's very good at understanding the power of leverage. You've only got so much time. Let's make sure we put our time into the right practices. But actually, we're not scared to have a go. And if it doesn't work, a lot of people go, well, I'm not going to have a go because I'm not sure it's going to work. Well, Lauren, like me, I mean, I've done loads of things in my career that haven't worked, but actually those have been great things. Even if they're little failures, that feedback has helped me make better decisions for the bigger stuff.
Have you ever had a failure that wasn't just like that's annoying, or that's you can't see the lesson in the moment? Was there ever a failure you like, that could, like a terminal failure?
No, I haven't had that. I just think, I've had some near misses, but it's whether your strength of character makes you sort the problem out. I in my newsletter this week, JB, I wrote, thank you, Chance.
I saw it. It was very good. Thanks, mate.
About awkward conversations. That was the discussion of this week's scribe. But I think super successful people are very good at having awkward conversations. We all have to have awkward conversations in our life. Yeah. It's just part of being an adult, isn't it?
Do you think there's a correlation between the willingness to have that and the sort of almost being on the front foot with those conversations and success in general? Because I know so many people who long off having that conversation to the point where then it's been made worse.
Or they hide behind digital communication.
Yes, yeah.
Which makes things worse.
Yes.
Because no one can really understand what you're trying to say.
The context of an email or a Slack
tonality
message
makes a big difference, doesn't it? I'm going to ask you a question. If you know you need to have an awkward conversation, do you get the heebie-jeebies, the butterflies, or are you just like, come on, let's do it?
It depends what it is. I like to have the solution that I'm trying to get to before I start the conversation.
So when you told Hayley...
Because I'm a bit of a hothead, so I can lose my temper. So if I don't know exactly the direction I want the thing to go in, then I can just... And then when you lose your temper, you lose control. And when you lose control, like you've lost the argument, I can be that guy.
So when you told Hayley that you had romantic thoughts about me, that conversation, how did that go down?
I just said, look, we have an issue here. go onto youtube.com, go to jamessinclair.net. What do you think my problem is? And she went, well, with a face like that, I can't blame you. And that was it.
Being genuine, I still, with awkward conversations, I still get the butterflies, the nerves sometimes.
Yeah, I do. And there's some conversations that I'm still not having now.
Have you read the book Eat the Frog?
Yes.
Or is it Eat That Frog?
Eat That Frog, Brian Tracy. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, you don't need to read it, but it is about just
doing the thing you don't want to do the most first.
Which is usually an awkward conversation, you know.
It is.
You know, like...
I don't have the conversation if I don't know the solution. So there's one particular, in my sort of world, there's one conversation that I need to have, but I don't know what the outcome of that is. So
at the moment?
Yeah. So I don't know.
With a person?
With a person.
Is it letting them down?
Not letting them down. It's letting them know that what is perceived as being all right is not all right. But I don't know because I'm making some moves that might not include them. Mm. So I'm reticent to have that because I don't know what the solution. I don't know the solution I'm trying to create yet.
Well, here's my little theory on awkward conversations. If you don't have many awkward conversations on the success ladder, I think you're down here.
Yeah, it's very true.
If your awkward conversations are going up, but you don't feel like your level of success is going up, I think you're on the way.
Yeah.
Is your ability to have them. I mean, I think of the big awkward conversations. You're in a relationship and you don't want to be in that relationship anymore. How long do people put that awkward conversation on? I think a lot of people watching this video going, well, I'm in that boat right now.
Yeah.
You know, because 50% of people's relationships do not last.
That's a crazy statistic to me, but
so half of people need to have awkward conversations. That's what the data tells us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
very often it's been years and years they've known they need to make that decision or have that conversation and they don't.
Then there's there's the normal ones around money that business owners might have. You know, you can't cash flow something, you can't deliver on a thing, you know, whatever, you're not paying enough and we can't deliver. There's those conversations. But I think the next one that really, really gives people the heebie-jeebies is around a HR situation. You've got to let someone go.
100%. Not if you're letting them go, if there's like a change in circumstance or what. I often also find like it's very difficult I think you can go into a situation sort of too hard and then you can soften.
Yeah.
Make your own jokes at home. It's very difficult to do it the other way around. It's very difficult to do it the other way around. I think if you've been started out as the nice guy and then all of a sudden you have to come in with a bit of an iron fist, make your own jokes of that. Don't Google the name of that film, by the way. But that can be really, really discombobulating because people are like, who are you? Are you the nice sort of jovial, jokey guy? Or are you the sort of the...
One of my early accountants, Phil Cooksley, before he sacked me because I got too big for him, lovely guy, he always said, you know, once you've had the conversation, you always feel better afterwards. And it's very stressful.
Yeah.
Holding in that HR conversation, that awkward conversation, that, you know, you carry it, don't you? You carry it and it's and I think successful people are much better, and I've got better at having those awkward conversations.
I now journal it as well if I have to have an awkward conversation. I'm like, to try and get clarity on what I actually want to happen in advance.
I think that's why reading the poem If is really great. Well, I'm not going to get you to read it again, although people did reach out and they loved it when we...
That was good. I couldn't read
the Rudyard Kipling poem If you're going into an awkward conversation, one of the biggest awkward conversations as well is if someone accuses you of something, which is what the poem If's about, and it's not true and they fabricated, which human beings love to do. But awkward conversations, the quicker you have them, the better you get at them, the more frequent you're having them, could be a sign that you're doing some good stuff.
I think also there will be the people there'll be some people in your life who are really good at bringing your focus to awkward conversations, and they won't do it out of trying to be combative, but they just know and they can call you out on your BS. Like Hayley's really, really good at, if I say something, she's like, yeah, but is that true? I'm like, yeah, it is true. She's like, well, you know, there was a situation with one of the things that I was doing, and I said,
because you've lied to yourself and
100%,
fabricated
and she knows
to yourself,
and is like, yeah, but is that true? What you're saying there, is that true? Is that really going to happen? And I'm like, oh. So there's some people that I think you're right. The more you have those awkward conversations, the better you get. And I think also if there's an awkward conversation, or there's someone who you try and keep awkward conversations from, be mindful of what that is actually telling you and listen to your intuition.
Well, there's two things just to wrap up the awkward conversation. You do always feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it is akin to, I don't know, after exercise, you know, you're dreading exercise, but afterwards you're like, I don't know.
That was good. Yeah.
Does that. And I forgot the second point because
the first one was so good.
Yeah. No, the second point is I think it's a good yardstick. Is that the word? Good of your ability to get stuff done in life.
As you're going up the entrepreneurial pyramid in your own world, are you having more awkward conversations?
Yeah, awkward conversations all the time.
Do you?
And I think about people ahead of me, like, you know, prime ministers and presidents must be having 20 awkward conversations a day. And and that's the third point. Sorry, that was my second point. The third point is, if it does give you the heebie-jeebies, if it does give you butterflies, that's probably because you're a good person.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to tell that, I'm sorry, I can't afford to keep you on, or you're not good enough for your job. One of the most awkward conversations I've had is with a member of staff that smelled of BO. And
it's awful, isn't it? Yeah,
mate, you smell, you need to sort it out. People are talking about you.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I went, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
So I was going in there. I mean, I've had plenty of much more awkward conversations than that in my career.
Yeah.
About like, you know, you can't meet payroll, or, you know, I need another 300 grand or whatever, you know, like you think that's but actually going into
when it's personal,
you're smelly.
Yeah. But then again, I think that shows you your character.
Yeah.
Because if you care about that person.
So what you've got an option there is you can put that off for another week.
Oh, 100%.
Because
leave some deodorants dotted around the office.
You bloody need to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the more awkward, great analogy there. The more awkward conversations that you're having, probably the further in the right direction that you are going. And listen to your intuition. You know, if you are, let's say, if you've got the heebie-jeebies, don't try and ignore it and bat it off, because
it's never. Well, I think that in summary, it's never as bad as you think.
No. What's the famous? It's Marcus Aurelius. Who's a Roman, he's got a book called Meditations. It was like his journaling. It's a fascinating book. I can't read it because it's like in Roman, but loads of people have read it.
In Latin, I think.
In Latin. Yeah, whatever. Ikos, bukos, thisos, isos. But he said that when you worry, you die twice. He was talking about worrying about going into battle. Like if you worry about death in battle, and then you die in battle, you effectively die twice, because you die through the worry and then you die in reality.
That's very
I
good,
maybe have butchered that analogy, and maybe it's better to die of worry than to die in reality on a battlefield. But you suffer twice. Maybe it's a suffering thing. Someone in the YouTube comments Spotify comments now, correct me on what the actual correct analogy.
Those Romans, they got it right for some, degree, didn't they? They were running the world.
Yeah, weren't they? 2,000 years ago.
They didn't innovate, so they evaporated.
I don't know what happened to the end of the Roman Empire. I've started a history book recently. I feel like I don't know enough about history in general.
Oh, I watch lots of history stuff. That's my go-to, yeah.
See, is that like your decompression?
Oh, I love it.
Do you? What do you watch?
All of it.
Like UK, like on TV?
YouTube, any show about something historical, I'm all over it. Baby.
Oh, really? Yeah, see, I don't. I think maybe I need to broaden my horizons.
Is there a knock at the door?
I believe there is, my love. Here we go. It's time for this.
Interesting quote of fact. Interesting quote of fact. It's time for the interesting quote of fact of the week.
Yes, it is. It's a time of the show where James Sinclair forces us to do yet another feature. This one is interesting fact or quote of the week, where we bring an interesting fact or quote, or Jimbo just recycles that of his following.
No. Last one, I did it on my own, but I know our audience like getting involved, and I've got a lot here. Kimmage Party Shop says this one. Check this one out, James and JB. Being poor is hard. Becoming rich is hard. Choose your hard.
Oh, I've heard that before. That's good. Yeah, I like that. What's the hardest hard you've had to choose?
Oh, that's a good. What do you mean?
I don't know. It just sounded good in my head. like growing a business is hard. Selling a business is hard. scaling up is hard. You know, buying an international company that you've done recently when you've never done the international thing that much is hard.
Being loyal to people. So I think about if I moved banks more often and changed financial institutions, I could have probably had more cash to grow and do stuff. But I'm quite loyal.
Oh, okay.
To my bank manager and stuff, which means that I wouldn't move when I probably should have at times because they haven't done what I wanted them to do.
But so what keeps you loyal to them in that moment where they won't give you what you want? Or
I don't want to use the phrase "better the devil you know," but there is comfort, isn't there? And that probably has stopped me from going to stratosphere.
I wonder if, because I think people could look at what you've done and do and go, God, he must be cutthroat. He must be a cutthroat business person. I think at your core, whilst you are probably the smartest operator that I've come into close contact with, I mean, I've led a very sheltered life, but you're actually an extremely, extremely good human being at the same time.
I have my flaws, but I try and be good.
Of which there are many. I was going to get to those shortly. But no, I think at your core, do you know what brought that up? I had a conversation with someone today. They phoned me, and I haven't spoken to them for years. And they're like, oh, that was amazing. Like, you've been doing some blogs about like the hard time that you had last year. And it came up in conversation. They said, oh, isn't it interesting who's there for you and who's not? And I was like, yeah, it's interesting. And your name came up. I said, you know the person who's there for me one of the most, who would phone me every day and just go, hello, I love you. I've got to go, bye. I was like, it's Jimbo. And they're like, no way. I was like, for someone who's doing so much further stuff ahead and probably, having to scale down a company of 10 people that's doing 30 grand a month is something that you didn't experience for the last 20 years. It's like that, the integrity of the person shone through. So I just want anyone who's watching thinking you're a knobhead. He's not. It's quite nice.
Thanks, mate. Well, that's very kind of you.
There you go.
And I feel the same about you.
Thanks. Carry on. Give us another one.
PVH Bathrooms reached in and said, protect your energy. Ambition is a fragile thing when it's exposed to the wrong people.
That's very true. That's very true.
Oh, and Ben LB1234 regular comes to all the seminars and stuff. This one's a classic one, but I think it's worth saying. If you only do what you've always done, you'll only get what you've always got.
It's very true.
There you go. What's yours?
I've got a quote. This comes from the business. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! As if today couldn't get any better. I've got one from the business oracle that is Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais, the guy who was our warm-up act for our live show. Do you remember?
Yeah, he was.
He was actually,
technically,
he just was. Like he
was in the building at the same time as us. I think.
No, he wasn't. He was on before us. Therefore, he was our warm-up act.
Right.
Just go with it. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. A genius and an idiot look the same online. Be careful who you listen to.
A genius.
Because he was talking about Twitter or X.
Yeah,
he's like, because it's the same font, the same format, and the same layout. It's on the same screen. You can go, oh, that's got as much value as each other. But a genius and an idiot look exactly the same online. I was like, that is really, really insightful, isn't it? And
well, there we go.
There you go. So that's interesting fact or quote of the week. Done for this week.
We've got one other little feature which we mustn't forget, which is a new one called Win of the Week.
That's right. It's time for Win of the Week. Win of the Week. Would you like to have a sneak peek at our Win of the Week? There you go.
Yeah.
We haven't got a jingle for that yet.
If you've got a business and you would like it to be featured on the show, you can send in to this address, James Sinclair, Win of the Week, Marsh Farm Road, Southwold and Ferris, Chelmsford, CM3 5WP.
Post it for a punt. We could call it that. Post it for I mean, maybe we shouldn't call it post it for a punt. The audience thinks no.
And this is from Adrian Ashley. Dear James and James, that's me and you. Please find enclosed.
That's how our Christmas cards are going to come dressed to us when we finally do make the big jump.
Fine. Please find enclosed gifts that you can hand to your wives on Valentine's Day. Next year covered.
Too late.
As requested on your latest podcast, these necklaces were test pieces on a new range that I've recently put into production, and I'm very, very happy with them. Hence my win of the week.
Oh,
if you could see your way to mentioning my adrianashley.com website on your podcast, that would be fantastic. Well, adrianashley.com, go and check it out for jewelry needs. If you can't, then no problem, as I'm sure I've already got the value out of this jewelry from your podcast.
What a lovely fella.
As a mood boost alone. Yours sincerely, Adrian from adrianashley.com. Shall we have a look?
Let's have a little look, shall we? Oh, nice branding, nice boxing.
There we go. What's this?
Is it from East
You can
Sussex?
clean your jewellery with warm water and a mild detergent. And there we go. Right, here we go. You're going to open it up.
Talking about romance.
Little bag. Very nice little box here, gang.
Oh, an unboxing video. Full-on unboxing video.
So this is for our significant others. People don't know we're together, so we'll just put it on ourselves. Yeah? Here we go.
Oh, it's very nice. Oh, I've got like a little owl face. It's like an owl face with a love heart. That's really nice. I love that. I am definitely going home tonight and just pretending that I bought her a gift. Should we do that? Let's make the commitment that we're doing that.
Now, I've got a dolphin-y thing. Dolphin-y thing. I think a dolphin.
It is a dolphin tail, but it's got a curly spiral, which is called a koru in nature, which is the sign of eternity. There you go.
Have you ever been swimming with dolphins?
No, I haven't.
I have.
Go on, here we go.
I went swimming with dolphins. I was so nervous about it. But once we got in the pool, we just clicked. That was my joke this week on my newsletter.
Oh, very good.
Thank you very much for that. And if you would like to get your business featured on Win of the Week,
post for a punt.
It doesn't have to be your business as well. If you know another small
send
business
us in the old tap
that has done very well and you think they're a win, please let us know about it.
Yes.
And we will feature it to our many, 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 many listeners and viewers.
But I can only do it if you do it.
What's
Like,
that?
are we committed? We're just going to go home and pretend that we bought gifts today.
No, I'm going to tell the truth.
Oh, I'm not. Why? Never let the truth get away with a good story. Right, shall we get lovely Lauren on the pod?
Let's get lovely Lauren on the pod.
Hey, lovely Lauren on the pod. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
We are very well. Thank you for asking. Right, we have obviously spoken about you with very, very high regard. Jim Sinclair wants to invest into you or duplicate your business, one or the other. He's either going to be your competition or your VC. So, pick your poison. Better the devil you know, as we said a minute ago. But give us a little summary of you and the business, Lauren, before we, so for the listener and viewer has context of how fabulous you are.
Yeah, of course. So what we do is we're called Theatre Express and we buy theatre tickets. And we've also sort of branched into doing events and things a little bit at the minute. And what we do is we buy the tickets in bulk. So, for example, if you want to see Wicked, we will have like 50 tickets for Wicked on, say, the 3rd of March. And whereas a ticket, if you were to buy that same seat and exactly the same date, time, etc., might be £99, we will offer it for £47.50 because we're buying in such large quantities. So basically, we pass that saving on to the customer. And it just helps make the theatre more affordable for everyone, really. And then we have a membership associated with it as well. I know you mentioned the membership. So we set the membership up in 2019 and then changed it slightly in 2020, actually, after listening to the podcast and actually based what we do within the membership around the Costco model. So we charge £12 a month. And for that, people get access to all the tickets a little bit earlier. And during that period, so in the first 48 hours, they buy the tickets from us at cost price.
Oh, wow.
So we don't put a markup on that for them just in that first 48 hours.
Wow, okay.
Lauren, it is VATable, isn't it, the tickets?
Yeah, so actually we've recently discovered, because we had a really awful accountant before who... it's another story. But we've recently discovered we're actually able to be with it on the TOMS scheme, which is the Tour Operator Margin Scheme. So they are VATable, but we're on a slightly more preferential program, I suppose, now.
What? Talk me through that. Something I actually don't know.
So it's VAT is payable on just the profit and not on the turnover.
Wow. now you've got him interested.
So this is like
it's a game changer.
This is like the second-hand vehicle market. If you buy a second-hand vehicle for £10,000 and you sell it for £11,000, you would only pay the VAT on that.
On the 1,000 profit?
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the second-hand vehicle market works. The TOMS scheme. Well, there you go.
It's called the Tour Operator Margin Scheme.
So what would make the government say, oh, do you know what? Do you know the sector that really needs a bit of support? Tour operators.
Don't know, but I'm not complaining.
No, of course you're not. No. What say you, Jimbo Sinclair? His mind has gone elsewhere now. It's
Yeah,
like,
it has,
how many other things can I turn into a tour operation?
Well, I can set up my own tour company and sell
Oh,
my
here he
tickets.
goes.
It's very interesting. So if you let's just do this. If you buy a theatre ticket for £1 and you sell it for £1.20,
Yeah.
you just pay the VAT on the 20 pence just for royalties of fine. Now, pre-Tom's, you were paying it on the whole £1.20, yeah?
Yeah, but obviously we can then claim the VAT back for the cost of the ticket that we paid for the ticket, if that makes sense.
But you can't claim the VAT back now on Tom's.
No, we can.
Wow. Okay.
What, the whole amount?
So we can claim the VAT back that we paid. So like if, you buy a ticket for a tenner and you pay £2 of that is VAT, we can claim back that £2.
Yeah. So you're getting
But
VAT
we're only then
rebates every
paying that
quarter
on
now.
Pardon?
You must be getting rebates back every quarter now then.
Well, this obviously isn't what I came on the podcast for, but my accountant previously, my old accountant who had had for nearly 10 years, was stealing from me. So long story short, my accounts have been an absolute disaster for years and I didn't know. And that was my own stupidity because I should have been, she was basically, what she was doing was laundering money through HMRC and stealing it. And so all of my accounts for years have been really, really messed up. So we are getting rebates and all my accounts have been for the last year, have been very up in the air. And I've now got an amazing accountant who's not a thief, which has made a massive difference.
Well, on that bombshell, we'll leave that one to the side. If that's legally.
Leave that for the police to sort out.
Okay, well, look, so how many tickets? I think that might be what people would be interested in. How many tickets do you sell a year, just to give a little headline to the volume?
I've got like the exact numbers somewhere, but I believe it's about, I think last year was about 12,000.
So you sold 12,000 tickets. I mean, there's massive growth in this because, I mean, that's huge.
So far this year we've sold 2,935 tickets.
And one of your challenges was it's difficult for you to market this business. Why is that?
Yeah. So because basically our tickets essentially undercut the box office, and obviously that is the box office is doing because they put the group rate on and they sell it, etc. But we're not allowed to openly advertise because it would technically be classed as ticket touting.
Right.
So to avoid that, we're not allowed to advertise. We have, I think, found a way around that, and we're going to start doing advertising through the sort of almost through a back door. So we're going to advertise like blogs. So we're going to advertise, send people to the blog, and within the blog will be embedded all the things that we do.
Yeah.
So we can do that, but we can't.
Did I not tell you to do a podcast about theatre?
You didn't back then, but I'm sure you're going to now.
Tell her, Jimbo, tell her. Go on.
No, but I mean, when I was an entertainer, Lauren, back in the day, I used to listen to all the radio stations between gigs, and Elaine Page, Radio 2, Sound of the Shows.
Oh, yes.
She was and what she had there was a show that compounded over years and years and years for everyone that loved theatre.
Yeah. I think it's still on now, isn't it? Like 20 years later.
Yeah, it is. I think it is.
Yeah, and I've got another contact of mine who is the managing director of Creeley Theme Park, actually. A very good friend of mine, Josh, who I was in America with, and he has got his own radio show, and let me just find it because I think this would be very good for you to go and listen to. No, I can't find it, but he's got a radio show which is just all the time for theatre songs and people into theatre.
Oh, wow.
And I think when we always talk about what podcasts work, that niche, you just do reviews and you just go, what did you think of Wicked? What's your favourite song? Should we play it now? Because you can play music on podcasts, can't you?
No, not really. You have to be very, very careful with it. You can play like less than 15 seconds, But then there's a thing called Creative Commons.
What about if you paid to play the music?
You could if you paid, but you can't really pay anyone at the moment. You'd have to go to the individual rights holders. So let's say like Universal Records has the rights to the soundtrack of Wicked. You'd have to go and broker a deal with them.
You need to become a radio show then.
Effectively, yes.
But there's a radio show that looks like a podcast. That's also a podcast. That's a radio.
Yeah.
Because I think if you did that Elaine Page show, like, you could host that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be.
Yeah.
And then you put the ads to the radio show, podcast, whatever we call it. You've got to play, because that's what they like, isn't it? Some of the songs.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go to the podcast, you go to all the shows and say, can we have some of your actors on that are in the show?
Yeah. So you could do it as an interview format if you didn't want to have to go down that whole licensing thing, like a behind the velvet curtain kind of thing, and have people who are on stage and do interviews. But like I say, they probably would want to.
What about if it's live performance of the songs?
It falls under a different license agreement. So you've got PRS and PPL.
She's got to have the music. James, you need to do some work here. And get in contact with Lauren, try and help her and try and get a customer here.
Okay,
and work out how she can play.
Okay.
The song from...
There will be a way around it. You could probably set it up as like an internet radio station with a Creative Commons license and then have a podcast that's an offshoot of that. There would be a workaround. Oh my God.
Could you see that? How good that would be?
Yeah, I can. I've thought about it for years, but my thought always was, because we couldn't use the audio, that it might just be a bit dry.
But we need to find out a way of doing it, because that is the solution.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because what would happen is the network economies of that. Everyone that's like, you get in and all the actors on, because they've got egos, they'd bloody love to go on a podcast, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Like they would love to go on Elaine Page on Sunday, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone that's in the West End, if the Elaine Page show gets in touch, they're on it. But actually, what if people can listen to it anytime, wherever they are in the world, and then they go on your show, then they share it to all their friends, but you got to have the music on there as well. You got to find
I'll have a look at that, because there's got to be a way around it. There's got to be.
Yeah.
But
it'd be amazing if there was.
Setting up an internet radio station is very easy. But you want to use the podcast platform. You want to get it on Spotify. You want to get it on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, you could have
their distribution.
The internet radio station would be almost the Trojan horse to do the podcast.
Yeah,
really. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah,
it would be a very good idea, though. A very good idea,
and it would, because so many people love musicals, don't they? Like anyone that's in performing arts and that go to stuff regularly would love to listen to that show every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think locally as well, okay, you've got the West End stuff, but locally, every town's got a theatre. They're putting on touring shows that are there for between, like 5 and, 1 or 5 nights per week. You could go and broker deals with the...
So that Elaine Page format was very clever, wasn't it? Very clever. And she mentioned...
It wasn't served anywhere else either.
No.
That market just wasn't serviced. And that's what Radio 2 were good at. Her, Lisa Tarbuck.
Yeah.
Craig, who used to do soul and funk. There wasn't any mainstream shows that serviced that audience. But again, if Radio 2 are doing it, there's got to be 7 million people who are interested in that thing. It's a great shout.
So what would be the dream to grow this? How can you get...
So... I think
you don't need money, do you?
No.
So if someone gave you £1 million, it wouldn't help grow it, would it?
I mean, you could throw that £1 million into ads and staff and systems and things like that, but I
You're
don't
being
think
interviewed here, Lauren. Be very careful. You're
not.
The vulture capitalist is asking you questions here. How are you going to spend his money? This is Dragon's Den incognito.
Funny.
Yeah.
He's an idiot.
$500,000 will be a dividend to me. The other half.
Sure, count him in.
No, to be honest, from like a cash perspective, we're fine. We've got cash in the bank, we can invest if we need to, but there isn't necessarily, other than running ads, there isn't necessarily loads that we need to invest in. It is a low barrier to entry business, but the relationships that we've built over the years and the systems that we've got now
I don't think it is. There's some little things that make it higher barrier to entry. People got to trust to give you their money to get their tickets, haven't you? That's built up over time.
Particularly as they don't get the tickets instantly. Whereas nowadays, obviously, if you buy something, you get the ticket, like the PDF will drop into your inbox within like 10 minutes. We can't do that because we have to do all the back and forth. So there is that real element of trust.
Really? So if I buy a ticket from you, do I actually get sent a physical ticket?
No, so they're all e-tickets now post-COVID, but we get them in as like a batch of, say, 50. So we'll get a PDF with just 50 tickets on.
Yeah.
Then we have to pay someone to manually allocate those, make sure the groups are together, and then chop them up and send them. So we don't send the tickets until like up to 4 weeks before the show, just because we don't get them through to that point. Because also they're all on a pro forma, so we don't pay for what we don't use.
Oh, this is getting better and better. And have you got, do you know the other thing I would do? Have you got people on the phones, like doing the old school call centre stuff?
No, we haven't. We used to have a phone line, but to be honest, it was just a bit of a nightmare because you get people at like 7:20.
No, I think you misunderstand.
7:30.
No. What I mean is you have someone calling all the PTAs and saying,
"Oh, right.
Does your school want to raise some money? Like blah, blah, blah. Here you go. Buy 50 tickets, make £1 a ticket. It's a great thing for your community." All the Cub Scout groups and just banging the phones and saying,
We don't, but I'd love to do that.
I mean, that will absolutely work. I mean, PTAs
about doing like some direct mailing stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, direct mail, but follow up with phone call combined is what I would do. Well, we do that now. We've got Ben Sharabi does. He just sits on the phones and he's ringing schools and groups saying, "Do you want to come to Marsh Farm? We'll do you a group booking deal. We'll come on Lee Valley, Roller City." And it's really working, Lauren. Really working.
That's really good to know.
You've got to get a good, friendly, outgoing.
He's a perfect person for that, isn't he? Yeah.
But it really does work. And it's so measurable. If they're rubbish, you say at the end of the week, "What did you do today?" "Nothing." "Well, this isn't the job for you." But he is.
And do you put them on like a commission basis?
He's on a salary. I'm not actually sure. I don't know. I don't look after. But
it's structured somehow by someone.
Yeah,
doing
Janky. He reports into. But I do think because less and less companies are doing that stuff now. There's a real good opportunity. What's good is, the people that used to sell newspaper advertising space.
Yeah.
Every week they had to fill them weekly news.
Yeah.
If you can find someone that's done that, because they're used to, "I've got to make 100 calls today." But actually send the direct mail, follow up with the phone call, and then you can just talk to people. What's the Women's Institute? Give them all of them, there's probably 2,000 of them around the country. Give them a little bell. "Oh, do you want to go and see
I've actually had a big database of them built already.
But sometimes people, getting 100 emails a day, aren't they? I miss so many emails. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I miss so many.
But you wouldn't miss a phone call, would you?
No. Or a text message.
Yeah.
Are you using text message marketing, Lauren?
We're not, but we have started to implement that. So we've started to capture people's numbers
James
now
Sinclair.
so that we can start.
James Sinclair is a big fan of text message marketing. 80% open rate is cheap. You can
Do you opt for text over WhatsApp?
I think both are good, but I think texts have I don't know, it's just a trust thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's more rules with WhatsApp as well, because if the person doesn't respond within 24 hours, you can't then resend to them. There has to be an engagement thing. There's a whole, what would be worth having a look at for you is one called ManyChat.
Yeah,
especially
we've got that as well in the pipeline.
Especially if you've got members and you've got so many, especially if you've got 1,200 of them and they all get access to those tickets 48 hours early. You need the ability to go, DM the word "wicked" now, and the first 50 people get the tickets, because otherwise it's just going to be logistically just a nightmare. And that ManyChat could.
Well, they all go onto our websites. They just book them on the website.
I'm getting this. Very rarely happens.
You've got sweaty palms.
I'm getting the sweats because I want to get my hands on this business and grow it.
He's got the cash sweats, Lauren. He's got the cash sweats.
God, I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, you should be. He's coming after you, Lauren.
No, I'm not. But I was impressed 5 years ago, and I think you've got something really good here. I really hope that I think it has potential, like big potential.
Thank you. I hope so.
What I can also say, and I do say this, very rarely do I say this, I probably only said it 4 or 5 times in all of my times doing this. This would be something I would invest in, which should give you a marker of, we've done 500 episodes in. This really excites me for you. I think.
Thank you.
I think it's got real legs.
Do you
Thank you. I
do you
really
need
appreciate that.
a fairy godfunder,
No,
Lauren? A little fairy
she don't
godfunder?
need my money.
He's already offered me $1 million.
No,
Oh,
she
that's
doesn't
true,
need
yeah,
me.
and you're
But
having off it as a payday, aren't you?
what? There's just little things little levers that you need to pull that explodes, and I don't understand why you're not doing it. That's slightly annoying for me.
And that is down to me, to be honest. Like, I think because I just come sort of now, I'm like fully back in the throttle of it post having a baby.
Throttle? What is this? A word you just made up there?
Throttle.
Oh, throttle. I thought she said throttle.
Don't try and knock her off because you're going to try and knock a percentage point off. I see what you're doing here, Sinclair. He's trying to rock your confidence, Lauren. Don't let him. Don't let him.
No,
and that is down to me, and I hold my hands up. Like I took some time off when I had to have, and I'm now really loving being back and being in the thick of it and being able to like apply my mind to it again without my mind being mush.
Can I just quickly ask on the margin? So if you buy a theatre ticket for £40, what do you aim to put on it?
So we put £7 on every ticket now.
So you do need the volume, but you've only sold.
We need the volume, yeah.
Last year only sold 12,000 tickets.
I don't know that that's right, because I'm looking at that, but then I'm looking at our numbers for this year, and we've already done.
What would you say your average? I'm going to tell you. What is your average ticket sale?
Our average order value is £120.
So you done 1.2 million last year, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I should really work this out.
10,000, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you're right. Yeah. 10 to
yeah,
12,000. But I think that's good, isn't it?
That's
because
great.
it just shows you can't be bothered to go and get lots of customers.
And if you've done 4,000 now in the first 8 weeks of the year, if you carry on at this sort of trajectory, you're looking at doing 24,000 tickets. You're looking at doubling from last year.
I've got James Martin's just here now, and I've lost my researcher from Chuds. Chuds, can you just quickly Google?
He can research. He loves it, doesn't he?
Can you just quickly Google how many theatre seats are there in London?
Come on, Chuds.
What do you reckon? Shall we have a little game here? What do you reckon it is, Lauren?
Oh, she'll know. That's cheating.
Oh,
she
God.
Can't. Come on then, Lauren.
No, I reckon 20,000.
She's
more
going,
than that.
she's going 20,000.
What are you going for, JB?
I'm going to go for. I'm going to go
I reckon
30.
20,000 in the West End.
No. You said you've had your piece. Pipe down. I'm going to go 38,000.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 38,000 north of that. I mean, how Wicked is like 4,000 on its own, isn't it? It's massive.
Yeah, I think Wicked's the biggest theatre.
Come on,
What is
Chance.
it, Chance?
No, I can't give you a straight answer. There's over 300 theatres.
All
And
right,
I can give you seats per the top.
What should we just quickly work out? 300 theatres
Oh, ChatGPT.
times.
ChatGPT or no?
Look, it's
It's
come on.
anti-AI day at the
If
time of
there's
recording.
300 theatres,
Yeah.
and they're all going to have between, say, on average, 1,000 seats. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Some theatres here are coming up with 300 seats, 400 seats.
What shows are they?
James
So
Sinclair's
the
British broadcast.
London Coliseum.
Colosseum?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, that's quite a
2,000
big one.
seats. Apollo Theatre, 2,300. Royal Jury, 2,000.
I think
Then
we can
Fortune
assume.
Theatre, 400. Ambassadors Theatre, 450. Oliver Theatre, 1,100. Dorfman Theatre, 400.
I think we've got enough there, Chad. Thank you for that. I think we can safely assume there's more than 12,000 seats.
Oh, is that the point you were getting to?
Yeah.
Here we go. ChatGPT.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The
Chad.
combined seating capacity of these theatres exceeds 110,000.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
wow.
So come on then. This
So
is
she
the
has got
great news.
12% of the market. That's good going.
Can we? What's 100? Taking off Christmas Day. So that's what 4 million seats a year,
Something like that. Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
and you're only selling 12,000.
I
Come
know,
on,
you fuck
LP.
up my ideas.
Lauren Perrier, you have got to. There's a huge opportunity for you here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
you
we're
are.
like the best kept secret, though. I think it's getting the word out there about what we do, because once
Well,
people
I
know,
wonder,
it's
you know,
a
this
total no-brainer.
Yeah, I wonder if your marketing lack of doing it is because you're being tight and don't want to spend the money. Is
Yeah.
that?
No, it's not actually that. I'm happy to spend the money. I'm happy to throw the money at it. But
Oh, I was
it's the
completely wrong.
restrictions around. They can so easily turn around and say, well, you're compromising our price integrity, you're touting, and then they just won't sell to you anymore. And I've seen it happen with people before.
Well,
Can you not advertise the group though, not the actual deal itself?
Yeah, so that's what we're kind of trying to do at the moment.
Yeah.
So we're going to start a really like a meta ads campaign, driving traffic towards blogs, and within the blogs we'll have our details like embedded within it, and it's obviously on our
think the
website, so we can
podcast-
drop the
I
pixel
think
and
the
whatnot.
podcast would be better than the blog, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
podcasts, and I know this because we're doing it, you have a regular audience that you build up and it compounds, whereas blogs sometimes are just is
Transient,
good.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the blog is just more of a way of driving people. It's like going through the back door rather than advertising out the front, if that makes sense. Just because we can get the advertising in there, we just can't say like, get your Wicked tickets for X amount. We're not allowed to do that kind of thing. What we can do is say, here's top 5 reasons to, like, top 5 ways to save money going to the theatre.
Yeah.
And a big chunk of that is us.
And have you got big competitors?
Not really. Well, obviously, like the theatres themselves, and companies like Today Tix, which is like the app.
Can I just ask as well, Lauren, just because I want to understand. So those little shops that are all around London, around Leicester Square and stuff like that, are selling tickets, are they a competitor? Are they doing what you're doing?
They're kind of doing something very different though, because theirs is like last minute stuff. So you'd go there on the day, whereas most of ours has to be booked far in advance because obviously we've got to secure a group.
Yeah.
So if you're just going up to London and you're like wanting to grab 2 tickets to anything, those are ideal, but that's a slightly different audience to us because ours are like people who are going, I want to see Wicked, I'm going to book with them kind of thing.
It's just really interesting. I've just done your numbers. So you make £84,000 of your ticket sales on. So that's your gross profit, 84 grand on the tickets. But really, it's the memberships where the money is made, isn't it?
Yeah. So we want people into the membership, and actually, our most profitable customers are families because their average order value is higher. They see more shows and they take more people at a time. So, they're buying 4 tickets at a time as opposed to 2. So that's who we really want to target rather than like your diehard theatre nerds.
Do you know the other thing? I just want to, if this was my business, I would be contacting Centre Parks, Havens, Butlins, zoos, attractions and adding them in as well.
That's a great idea.
Because what I don't want, as I'm like the theatre, I don't want you underselling Marsh Farm.
Yeah.
I don't want you to make us feel like the people that pay properly are ripping off. But if it was in a closed membership group, that's a conversation that we would be prepared to have.
So you do like an exclusive,
because
but only for them.
We want to be. You will not find us on Groupon, Zoopla, and all that palaver. But we call the schools directly and do them a really good deal that no one will be able to get on our website. But it's because it's. I'm basically like the theatres. I understand what they want to achieve because
I do, yeah.
You don't want to be knowingly undersold.
Yeah,
that's the John Lewis phrase. And I think Centre Parks. I mean, I know they do some good deals for groups and stuff, but it's all kept hush hush and secret.
Yeah,
and that's the Costco model. That Apple agreed to sell stuff cheaper in Costco than their own shops because it's being sold to a membership, and it can't just rock up.
Yeah, I like that. And also it makes the membership more attractive.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if as well, like you can, £1,000 Centre Parks holiday, you sell for £500 exclusively to your members. Like Centre Parks would hate that if that was, on a Facebook ad. But if it's in a, they might get behind it. It's really good business.
Certainly worth a shot.
Like and you're very good, and I know you're very good, and I just, I hope that, you come on again in another 5 years' time, and this is, a £10 million business making very good money. But you might have to invest some money into people, mightn't you?
Yeah, and I think that's the next step really is once we sort of get to that 2 million, I think we can get to the 2 million doing with the team that we've got. But I think once we get past that, we're going to need to bring in sort of more.
Do you know what I've just really worked out? You're basically a travel agent, aren't you, in effect?
Yeah, that's the tour operator bit, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, that is what you are.
Yeah.
So if I buy flights through a travel agent, they're paying VAT on their margin similarly to you, I imagine. Because
I
otherwise,
have no idea.
it just won't work, would it? That's
No.
obviously why this Tom's thing
Yeah.
exists. You know, if you're buying a £1,000 flight to New York,
120
and the
quid of that.
consumer
Yeah,
has to pay
£200,
the VAT twice, you know, because you're buying it and paying the VAT, and then you want to put your, and you're reselling it with your, I get why that exists. Do you know what? I learned that today.
Every day's a school day, isn't it?
Tom's. What's it called? The Tom's scheme.
Tour operator margin scheme.
Margin scheme.
Very exciting.
Did you have any specific questions that you wanted to ask, Lauren? I've got some here. We might have covered a few of them off, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the sort of the big one is how to increase that average order value. If I can add 20% to every average order value,
Well, I think I've answered that. Get some holidays on there. Get some other experiences on there. Make sure theatre's number one. But if people, what you're very lucky with, Lauren, what you've got is the Amazon thing, the Sainsbury's thing, where people are used to spending money with you. They trust to therefore spend more money with you. You've got that. You're over the hill. They've given you their credit card details. You know, wow, I've got a deal here to go to, you know, there'll be lots of holidays, UK holidays, that have spaces that are empty.
Yeah.
And they would like to fill, but they don't want to be knowingly undersold to their core customers.
So I used to do allocation on arrival, didn't they, to abroad? It'd be like 100 quid in October to Menorca, and you didn't know which hotel you're going to be putting because they didn't want to advertise and devalue that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could have little sub brands of this as well. So you could have Theatre Express, Day Out Express, Holiday Express. Holiday Express is already gone, but you could have little sub brands of this as well. So you don't ever devalue the first thing that you've got. But also, the people in Theatre Express, they would probably buy Day Out Express as well, wouldn't they? And then you've got 2 bites of the cherry.
I think you should just have one membership, though.
Do you think so?
Because I just think I'm already giving you 12 quid. What have I got to pay 12 quid for Day Out? 12 quid. But I think it will make them spend more.
And
our churn on the membership is really low. I think our churn is like 2 or 3%. So
that's good on those numbers. That's really good.
Yeah, and I really want to keep it that low. So giving them more value makes sense.
What are you going to do with this? Are you going to sell this one day?
Do you know what? I'm really good at like killing my darlings, you know, like getting rid of stuff. But this one, I feel like this is like a long term. I mean, it's not out of the question. I'll happily sell it. Once I get bored of something, I'm happy to sell it. But I
don't get bored of this. This is a good model.
Yeah. I want to see, I see myself doing it for the next 10 years, certainly. But never say never.
What you should do as well, I mean, not to waste people's time, but I would send this to some private equity companies and just have the meetings with them and just go,
really?
What do you think of this business? You know, this is where I've got, and just listen to them. It'd be worth 6 meetings. I think you'll come away with some really good stuff and it'd be a very valuable lesson.
Yeah.
Because it's predictable cash flow, very sticky customers, moats around the business because of the membership, chances for it to grow. And they'll just tell you, you know, you don't have to do anything, but I would definitely look at that. It's too small for them at the moment. Interesting. But you should definitely go, you know, ideas for free. And what's good about you, Lauren, is you're an action taker and I know that. So, you know, could be good for you.
Yeah, I like that idea.
You're good, you are.
Is she in your top 5? She's in your top 5, isn't she?
What? No, because I think she could have had a lot more. I'm sorry, Lauren. I know you're there.
He's marking you hard here, Lauren.
Well, no, what annoys me about this
you're definitely top 10. Definitely top 10.
What annoys me about this is I think it's an untapped opportunity that's quite easy to, you know, lots of people go, my problem is I haven't got the 5 million quid to expand it or I haven't got enough people. Like we have people, Lauren, that come on. But we had a guy that's in New Zealand. He's got 4 million people that live in New Zealand. You know, you got 70 million people in the UK. You know, there is some massive wins here. You know, I think, and I'm saying it because I want you to feel like you've been told off a little bit so that you go and deal with it because I want you to be super successful. Yeah. I am, you know,
I agree.
It comes from a part, it comes from love, I promise you.
I think the thing is that we not to deliver up excuses, but we had 2 years of COVID, and then we had 18 months after COVID of getting everybody back.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, in COVID, we didn't just have to stop trading. We were literally giving back the money that we had earned in the previous year.
Boring. That's 5 years ago, like
no, but
last
we're
moved
like
on.
over that hump
but now
ready to go.
There's not many opportunities that I've had on here that I think, oh, what a good thing this could be. And you've got all the relationships. I'm thinking like there's quite a lot of moats. Like people can't just go and replicate this. You think it's low barrier to entry, but network economies, building relationships, that's actually much harder than people think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the theatres trust you. There is, there's contracts sort of in place. I just think it's very exciting. Anything from you, JB?
I just think it's great. I think, done really, really well. Like Jimbo says, if you can get that margin on the tickets, imagine what you could do for a business if you could get that margin on a holiday.
The reason I'm annoyed is you've only sold to 12,000 people, and we now know there's 110,000 tickets a night in London. And let me just also say, at weekends, don't they run 2 shows a day? Do they run matinees every day, or is it just weekends?
Do it once a week as well, I think?
Sometimes they do a midweek and then one at the weekend.
So plenty of untapped opportunity.
Yeah, I think the biggest priority is...
That's what's annoying me. No one knows about this. I think people will be listening and going, I didn't know you could do this.
No, I had no idea.
I thought you had to go to one of them dodgy shops in Leicester Square to get a deal.
Got anything for Lion King tonight? Yeah, it's still 400 quid.
Yeah.
No thanks, bye.
What I love about this is you go to one of them dodgy shops in London and you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Whereas at least with this is we know 3 weeks before we make the trip, get on the bloody train, park the rip-off car prices, do all of that. You can actually plan what you're going to do. It's just, I remember 5 years ago I was thinking this is good. And now I'm thinking this is
still good. There you go. Where can people go and find out more information about you and your wonderful business, Lauren?
So the website is theatreexpress.co.uk. And we have a Facebook group too called Theatre Express.
Awesome stuff. We'll put a link in the show notes. Fantastic. Well, thank you for being on. We'll talk to you again in another half a decade if me and him are still pals. He'll talk to you in 5 years. I don't know if I'll be here or not. We know I'm quite transient with these things. So I might be here in 5 years. But other than that, we wish you well. Thanks for being on the pod.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Lauren. See you later.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. She was great.
Isn't she good?
What an amazing, amazing, amazing business.
What are you huffing about? Just say
just
something
annoys
good.
Me that she hasn't grown it more.
She's grown it. She's comfortable growing it. She's had COVID.
Really
she's had a baby.
No, but
not everyone's you, Sinclair. Leave a bit of meat on the bone.
I sort of know of, and I just think she is more talented than she was giving out on this show today.
Should we rate how talented she is?
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's time for the 8 Traits of the Greats. Sorry, what was that?
It's a great model. What she's got there for people listening to this,
tell them down that camera.
What Lauren has created is a great business model. She's not actually, she's buying the tickets, but she doesn't have to lay out any cash.
So good.
She only pays for them if she sells them.
Yeah, actually.
And it's finding these models, and she just now needs to put the energy, effort, and enthusiasm in. Let's do the 8 Traits of the Greats.
Here we go, then. Come on, then. Give us the 8 traits.
James Martin's there. Should we mic him up? He's just come in at the back. He's taken chances. Did you listen to any of that?
Taking a break from the trees.
You listened to all of it.
My favourite arbitrara. What do you call a tree person?
JB.
Sorry, carry on.
Arboriculture.
Exactly. My favourite arboriculturist is here, everybody.
Very good model, James. Very impressive lady.
Yeah, she is.
Very impressive.
Well, you can join in and you can do the markings.
I'll do the markings, you do the opinions.
Okay, number one, starting with the end in mind. No. She didn't actually know where she was going.
As quick as that, no.
He's our biggest critic on this, isn't he? Well, if you don't know, it's a no. So everyone has the same impression as him. It's a 0 from Martin. From the 3 Jameses.
Passionate about her course?
Come on, we have.
I think she likes to make money.
He's well tough, isn't he? Are you joking?
No, she didn't sound that passionate, did she?
Well, she's a Mark's making money.
Christ on a bike. I did not expect this to happen.
She started out as a kids entertainer. That's how I know her. So
she's passionate. She's trod the boards.
No. Number 3, untold amounts of resilience. She's got that.
Yeah, definitely.
She's been knocked, I know personally. She's an innovator. Yeah, I think she can have
very
that.
good.
Commercial awareness. She didn't know what was going on with her accounts, but she knows how to make. I think we should give her that. What do you think?
What's he saying? What's Carol
Yeah, I
Vorderman
suppose
over
so,
in
yeah.
Dictionary
Go on
Corner
then. Go on.
saying? Yep, he's saying yes.
Relationships with people. She's obviously got all those theatre connections.
40,000 people
was-
like her. 1,200 people pay her 12 quid.
Yeah.
She can have that.
Master marketeer.
Oh.
No, absolutely not, is she? No.
There we go.
She's not.
I mean, no would suffice. Absolutely. He's a savage, isn't
Number
he?
8, stay teachable.
Oh, she can have that.
Definitely, absolutely.
So we're getting 5 out of 8, 5 alive.
out of 8.
I think she's more
better
than that. Yeah, she's
If
more
he
than
wasn't
that.
here, if your pal wasn't here, you'd have given her a 7. It's only because you're scared of him.
He would have given her a sneaky half here and there.
Yeah.
Which he hates. James Martin hates us giving a half.
She's very good though. Please, if you want to get tickets, go and check her out, Theatre Express.
Absolutely.
Right, I think there's a knock on the door, JB.
There is indeed. It's time for the business quiz. Here we
Here
go.
we go.
Here
It's
you go,
my
babe.
turn, isn't
Your
it?
go.
It's Jim versus JB.
So this is what we're doing here, lovelies.
Can James Martin play?
Yeah, he can play.
Which one's clever and which one's dumb? Izzy Wizzy,
Let's get quizzy, James Martin.
Lovely.
you
I've
like a
seen
quiz?
this. I've got a
I
funny
bet you love
story about this.
Go on.
Les Miserables
Okay.
is the West End's longest running musical. How much has it made since its 1985 debut? Fact here. I was born in 1985, and this is one of Nat's favourite shows, and I took her on a date to see this. And there's a scene in the Royal. But have you seen it,
Yeah,
Jay?
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love Stars. That's one of my favourite songs. Stars in their magnitude. You know that song?
I've never heard it sung like that. No.
It's my version of it.
Good job. He was just a kid's entertainer,
Yeah, I was
not
about
a
to
singer.
say.
Yeah,
Oh,
lovely.
what a wonderful song. Anyway, so there's in the Royal Box, they shoot a camera, shoot a gun in a scene, but it's a real loud thing. And it's quite a poignant part of the show. And I shouted out, OF, because I thought it was and then everyone in the theatre looked at me. She was not happy, but I was genuinely scared. I just didn't expect it to happen.
Was that an early date?
Oh, it's in 3-4 months in, I would say.
That's punchy, isn't it? Les
Yeah.
Mis, 3 or 4 months in. That's punchy. That's what seals the deal, isn't it? Go on
Yeah.
then. Read us the question again.
So she's been going. So Les Mis is the West End's longest running musical. How much has it made since its 1985 debut? Now, James Martin done some work for Andrew Lloyd Webber, but this isn't one of his shows.
No,
is
it's
it?
not. No,
But I think he
Did
owns
you?
the theatre.
I think he does own the theatre now.
Mate,
Yeah,
mate.
he owns quite a few theatres there, doesn't he? Yeah,
He is.
Yeah.
He owns billions of pounds worth of real estate in
Yeah.
London. Not to the theatres, like they're his.
Really?
With his show in.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, he's.
Is this the profit it's made or the turnover?
Well, see, you're like me.
Oh, here he goes. He's already hedging himself
'Cause
here.
I think some weeks they're not making any profit out of it.
I think we go with revenue.
Yeah. How many
It's
seats?
been in London. It's been in. I mean, this is the. Is it just in London, Chuds? Must be.
Les Mis, yeah.
It's in the UK, in America as well, isn't it, Les Mis? Or is it not?
No, I don't think so. Oh, on like
Broadway.
Broadway. No, I don't think so.
100 million.
You reckon 100 mil? How long is that? 1985. That's 40 years now, isn't it? God, we're old, aren't we?
I just looked at Chuds' face and he gave me that look when I said that number. We don't know what that look means.
No.
It's either a look of disgust or a look of just, you stupid boy.
Like
You think
do you like
100
musical
million?
theatre? No.
What do you think it is?
What do you think is the best show you've ever seen?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I knew you were going to say that.
Flipping fantastic. I laughed my head off.
I'm saying 350 million.
It's way more. You're both wrong.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's over $1 billion.
Oh,
It's
Really?
40 years.
je ne comprends pas.
Yeah,
Bit of
it's
French,
about
Les
£100 a
Mis.
ticket. I reckon it's 1,200 seats a day. So yeah, I'm going for $1 billion plus.
$1 billion plus. Were you going for $1 billion or $1 billion
And the
plus?
answer is-
Here it goes.
The answer is 4 billion.
No.
Les Mis has played.
Sacre bleu. More French. You're welcome. He loves that. He's French as well, isn't he?
Les Mis has played approximately 15,500 performances. Les Mis in 1985 was funded by 68 backers who invested a total of 600,000. Oh, they got their money back.
They did.
Wow,
didn't they?
wow, we were.
130 million people have watched Les Mis, the musical, worldwide.
Wow,
I knew it was. You can't.
I never seen
I
Les Mis.
worked it out. It was roughly 45 million turnover
Here
a
he goes.
year, but I think I got that wrong. I think it's more like.
James, I think I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah, I've
Have
seen it
you?
at least
Yeah,
twice.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
So you used to share the wooden spoon of
Yeah,
death,
thank you very
and
much.
I get the plastic took.
He
All right,
likes
JB,
wood.
you can keep it. It's
That's fine.
Yeah.
He's got enough wood in his life, and he don't need any more. It's not an analogy. He just likes trees, doesn't he?
There we go.
Right. Anything you want to sell
Yes,
or
guys,
upsell to people?
if-
Look at the camera there.
If
Give 'em a
you
hard sell.
are loving the podcast, you can come to one of our seminars or events. If you go to my website, jamessinclair.net, they're all there. We're doing the theatre show in June, which is a
Go to Ticket Express, you can get a free knockoff ticket.
Yep. But if you want to come to Business Masterclass or Buying Businesses, which are our 2 signature events, all the details for them are on jamessinclair.net. Wishing you lots of love and success for whatever you're doing for the rest of the day.
That's very emotive, wasn't it?
Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm James Sinclair Entrepreneur. And if you want to follow James Martin. What are you?
Dyslexic James, follow me.
Dyslexic
But
James.
I'm
If
not
you're dyslexic,
official,
you
by the
probably
way.
can't spell
That's
it,
not
right?
official.
No, it's not official. But dyslexic James, and you're on YouTube now as well, aren't you?
YouTube now, yeah, lovely.
Oh, he's everywhere, isn't he? He's like a rash. He's got everywhere.
Yeah, there we go.
You're being told off for banging pens together.
sorry,
He'll
I'm
be
not-
fuming.
Sorry, there we go. So, if you would like a cure to that rash and you want to be 45 and you want to go onto Instagram and follow you, where do you need to go, James?
Where do you go, JB? Where do you go?
James Burt official. It's not even that funny. There's so many James Burts out there, never knowingly duplicated.
There we go. Do people message you about it?
I get rinsed every single day now.
I love that.
Every single day I get it.
I like that I'm allowed to officially online bully you and there's no
It's
repercussions.
ridiculous. The fact that someone's made their
That's
own
why,
unofficial
James. That's
one.
why he comes in army gear to
Yeah.
wear, so he doesn't get. He's got armour.
Is he having a laugh?
No, this is a T for Ted Baker, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm
Who's your client?
Ted Baker.
He's doing some work for Ted Baker.
Yeah. I mean, it's no old, what's his face, who does
Andrew
Les
Lloyd
Mis.
Webber, yeah.
What'd you do for him? Trees?
What is it? Can
We did his estate management for him, yeah, back in the day. Lovely. He's not
Before-
very tall.
Just so, because people are going to be angry with us in the comments, Andrew Lloyd Webber was not Les Mis, but I think it's at his theatre. And the guy, who's the other
Cameron
famous-
McIntosh.
That's him.
That's it.
Cam Mac, that's what they call him around them
Cameron
parts.
McIntosh, yeah.
Are we done with this podcast?
We are. Thanks for
Adios,
listening.
amigos. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now, look, we're looking for some great businesses to come on the podcast. If you've got challenges, but you're desperate to grow your business and you can't necessarily work out how to do it on your own, you'll be a perfect candidate to come here on the podcast. It's absolutely free to come on the show. Go to my website, jamessinclair.net, and there's a podcast button. Click on the podcast button, fill in the application form, and we'll do our very best to get you on the show and try and grow your business. If you're loving the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking here. And why not give this one a watch? I think you'll like it.